Hi, it's Tanya. Welcome to the class today. So today's video is all about helping people that have painful backs and hips. So we're going to focus on mobilizing and strengthening and a little bit of stretching in between. So you don't need anything, well, you need you don't need anything, you do need something. Blocks or cushions, so you can use towels. If you don't have any of these, you can take towels and fold them up. I've got a band, so this is quite a strongish band just to help with the movement. You can use a towel as well, although towels don't have any give. And then I've got a ball, so if you don't have a ball, you could use a little cushion and roll it up so it's in a long thing. I don't know how you explain that. So you can use that. But what I always say to people, if you are going to do regular Pilates and stuff, it's worth buying these things. They're not ridiculously expensive and they do make your practice a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable. So without further ado, let's get started. We're coming on to the back first. We're just going to have a nice little stretch, just get into the spine and mobilize a little bit. So you can put a block under your head if you want to. I like to have a block under my head, but sometimes my neck doesn't like it for certain movements. So I shall have one for this. I'm just going to move myself down. Yeah, there we go. So the first thing I want you to just notice is how your lower back is feeling. So some days your back might be fine, some days it might be quite stiff. So just pay attention to how it feels right now. So as we work through the movements, just be kind to your body. You don't need to force your body to do anything. Now, in terms of the arms, you can either have your arms in a Y position or you can have them out to the side in a T position. So what you might notice with me, as soon as I've put my arms back, my chest has dropped back, okay? Part of that is because there's a block under my head, so I'm actually going to take the block away. Might just fold the cushion a little bit. And a part of it is that my shoulders are feeling a little stiff today. So I'm not too fussed if the back is lifting. Just be mindful you're not hurting your body, your shoulders. So you're going to bring your feet together and nice and close to the bum. And then just take a deep breath in. From here, you're going to hug your belly in. So now I'm sending my lower back to the floor. So you might feel like the arms want to pop up. So if that does happen, just take them wider. From here, you're going to just take your knees over to the left. Now, some people's knees will stop there. Some people's legs can go all the way. So just meet yourself where you are. Just find a place where it's not painful, and you might feel a little bit of pulling around here or around your lower back. So I know in particular on my right side, which is this side, I know there is a bit of tightness in one of the muscles there, which I can feel at the moment. And we're just going to settle there with this. So when we hold these kinds of stretches, this is pretty passive. We are starting to just get into all your connective tissues. Bit of the fascia, your tendons, your ligaments and stuff. So we're not going to go deep, deep, deep. All I want is for your body to have a nice gentle stretch before we start. Now, if you do want to go a little further into this, you can just try and reach this right hand further away. And then perhaps nudge that top hip a little bit more forward or to the back, whichever way you're lying. So just find, how can you increase that sensation a bit? So it might be thinking of sending your knee further away. It might be sending the hip over. And if you want to look towards your right arm, you can. So like I said earlier, for me with the head on a block, I wouldn't be able to turn my head. So for an exercise like this, I do actually like to do it with my head on the floor. Oh, I love these. They feel so nice. So take a deep breath in. Now on the exhale, you're going to hug your tummy. So get your belly button to pull your body. So rather than just taking the knees over, get your abdominals and your core to bring the body back over. Oh, I can feel that. And so I've got a tightness on that side. You know, Pilates teachers are not perfectly aligned. We're probably worse than everyone else. So take a breath in. Now send the lower back down first. So I'm hugging my abdominals in. The reason I'm doing this is to stop. I'm going to exaggerate it when we go to the side, overarching the back. So if you drop the abdominals first and then take it, you'll find that you get a little bit of a nicer and safer stretch. And don't be surprised if you find one side you can go a little bit further than the other side. That's completely normal. So just hold in that position there, just for a start. I always like to just be in the position, just see how that feels before you then decide whether or not you want to take it any deeper. So this side for me feels a lot looser, it's not as uncomfortable. So take a breath in again. And then if you want to reach that left hand away, you can send your top hip a little bit over. And perhaps think of reaching this thigh bone away from you. So the more I reach away there, the more I feel it in the armpits. And that has to do with that fascia. So you've got fascia. It's like almost like if you think of a mummy wrapping, but it doesn't wrap like a mummy, but it keeps everything in the body. And it comes all the way down over. So even though you haven't actively reached your arm away, the more you try and reach your hip away, you might feel it in that armpit. And your head can go to the left if you want to. And then just focus on nice big breaths into this left rib cage. Good breath in. And then on the exhale, pull the belly button in, bring it back to the center. Just realign your spine. We're going to do one more to each side. So inhale. As you exhale, tummy goes down, send the knees over to the right. This is my tight one. Oh. And then if you want to reach your arm away, you can. If you want to reach that leg away, you can. And then if there's no pain in your neck, you can look to the right. So now I'm reaching my right hand away from my right knee. And I'm reaching the knee away from the hand. So trying to send the body in opposite directions. So I can feel all these tissues. So interestingly enough, when I'm on this side, I feel a lot more in the lower back. When I'm on the other side, I feel it all in the armpit. Which is probably because I walk the dogs on the left-hand side. So I'm probably a little bit more developed around my shoulder and chest area. Maybe I've got one boob bigger than the other. And then exhale, pull it down. So I have to ask my husband for an inspection. And then breath in, take it over to the other side. He'd be so lucky. Send your left leg away from the left arm. So like I said, so I feel it a lot more down this area on this side. And maybe because it's going into a deeper stretch than the other side. Just keep breathing into this rib cage, and that's going to help with the stretching. So I hope you have felt which side is your tighter side. Sometimes people can't feel, and then with what we're going to do now, we're going to work to our tighter side. So on the next exhale, bring it back up. So if you don't have one, just pick a side that you think feels a little bit more uncomfortable, or it's the side that you wouldn't want to do again. So we're going to do one more to that tighter side. So breath in. So I'm going to go to my left, which is stretching off my right back. So you might be going in the opposite direction. Oh, good. And then looking into the opposite direction, provided there's no pain or discomfort in your neck, and then reaching. So I have a torn plantar plate in my foot, which has been now over a year. Yeah, over a year now. So if you think of a foot injury, anything like that can cause imbalances in the body. And this is what Pilates is all about, trying to bring balance to the body. Now, obviously, when you have an injury or maybe a hip replacement or knee replacement, your body is going to compensate naturally to help you recover from your injuries. But then the problem is you need to now rehab yourself. Oh, it feels good. One more breath. Good. And then on that exhale, hug the tummy back down again. Just bring yourself back into the middle. And this always feels horrible, but super nice. Just give yourself a hug with your arms. So we are going to come into a seated position. And so for this, you'll want to have your band or a belt or something, and I'm just going to move this out the way. So we stretched off the tissues that cross the body. We're now going to focus on stretching the lower back and also just waking up the abdominals. So the abdominal group is part of your core group, which supports your spine. And there's actually muscles in the lower back that are connected to the hips. So that's why sometimes people with tight hips have a painful back. So we're just going to work through that whole area. So in this position, because I have a band on my feet, I've got my legs together, but you can also have your feet hip width apart. So sometimes if you've got big bellies or whatever in between there, you can always have those legs a little bit wider to accommodate for that. Right, so have your band relatively tight. Now, if you don't have a band, you can hold on to the back of the legs. It's the same thing, okay? So I'll do a quick demo. So when we go back, you're just going to be holding onto the legs, and then you'll bring yourself back up again. So the first thing is to just sit nice and tall. Now for some people this can be a challenge, whether it's the front of the legs. Now if the front of your legs are burning like crazy, you can also do this with straight legs. Okay, it is going to get into the back of the legs a little bit more, which is not a bad thing. Or you can have your legs there. So sit nice and tall. Now have a little shoulder roll. So bring your shoulders forward, take them up to your ears, and roll your shoulder blades down the back. And I want you to imagine you're trying to get your rib cage to lift another inch away from your hips. And then think of your collarbones. So for the nature of a lot of the clients that we have, because they're getting older, we want to try and make sure that their back is nice and strong and their posture stays nice and tall. So I always say to my clients, lift your collarbones, even if it means you're coming into what's called an extension and you're not in a neutral. So a neutral spine is all stacked evenly above each other, whereas your extension is the heart is lifting a little bit. So I always say to clients, come into an extension that's helping to strengthen your upper back. So hold it there, breathe in. Now on the exhale, you're going to pull that belly button in and get your belly button to push you off of your sitting bones towards the coccyx and then maybe a little bit further. So the nice thing about the band is now I want you to relax your arms and just let the band pull your hands towards your feet so that you get this lovely stretch through your back, and then your gaze is going to be between your legs or towards your thighs, somewhere around there. So just enjoy that stretch into your posterior chain, the back part of the body. And then breathe in as you bring yourself back up, grow nice and tall. Now have that shoulder again and lift your heart. I'm actually going to make my band a little tighter. So inhale, exhale, draw the tummy in, push yourself off your sitting bones towards the coccyx. So be mindful that your belly is popping out and you're just hanging there. Everything is done by hugging your abdominals inwards, relaxing the neck and the shoulders again. So when we pull the belly button in, this is us working the core, which surrounds the spine. Now the core is not one muscle, there's a group of muscles. And then bring it back up again, grow nice and tall. So on this one, I want you to focus what your belly button wants to do. Is your belly button trying to pop out? If you can see, I'm trying to exaggerate it. Or is it being pulled in? So if it pops out, it's your external. So it's all these muscles at the top. Your rectus abdominals, there's a few of your obliques here. They're trying to push out. Now to work the core, we have to pull inwards, and this targets a particular muscle called transverse abdominals. So I want you to imagine we're going to take a photo and you're trying to make yourself look another inch thinner. So pull it in, pull it in, pull it in, and then bring yourself back up again. Shoulder roll, lift your heart. So let's do a couple more. Breath in. So for the next two, I'm just going to do it with my hands here. On the exhale, tucking in that tailbone and pull, pull, pull that belly button in. Imagine your belly button's trying to touch the wall behind you. And then think of your rib cage going towards your hips. Now, depending on how mobile your lower back is, some people are going to be with a straight back. I want you to be mindful that's not you doing that, rather than it's a stiff back or really tight back. So we want to actively round the back. I know in some modalities of fitness, they always go back with a straight back. For what we're after in this particular exercise is to round in the lower back so that we can stretch it off, and then bring yourself back up again. Have a little shoulder roll. So one more. Deeper exhale. So even though I'm holding here, my arms are relaxed. I'm not gripping on for dear life. Draw the tummy in. Think of your rib cage and your hips trying to come closer together. Then inhale as you come back up again. Now, if you want a little challenge, we're going to drop the bands and the hands, and we're going to bring the hands out to the front. So inhale. On the exhale, tuck the tailbone under, take it back. Remember, this is not a competition about how far back you go. It's more about stretching the back. So as you hold this position, I want you to now imagine there's a wall in front of you. Maybe you have. Try and touch the wall, but don't let your spine come up. So we don't want to lean forward. We want to keep that lower back pulling backwards, but the arms are reaching forward. Inhale as you come back up again. Relax those shoulders. One more. So breath in. Pull that belly button in. Tuck it in, tuck it in, tuck it in. Just holding it there. We're just going to hold. Reaching your arms forward. Big breath into your back. And then pull the tummy in. One more. Inhale. Reach those arms forward. Can you pull the tummy in a little bit? It does make it a lot harder to breathe. And then bring yourself back up again. Well done. So just relax your legs, dropping your head down. Marvelous. Right, so we are going to come into a little bit of side bending now, just to stretch off the side. So a lot of hip work / back is a lot of to do with spine mobility in the lower part of the region. So I'm going to sit on a block. The reason, or hopefully my head doesn't get chopped off, maybe I need to stay over the block. You can do this on the floor or a block. The reason why is like these mats are quite soft. So it's harder to feel your bum cheeks, your sitting bones. So what you can do is sit on something hard, a book perhaps, so that you can feel the heaviness of your tushy. So I'm actually not going to sit on because I think I'll chop my head off. I've got a neck like a giraffe. Now, with this particular exercise, you can have your legs in this position. You can have your legs crossed. You can have your legs like that or like that, however is comfortable for you to sit in. I like this position because it's not so hard, not so easy to cheat, but I'm actually going to have my legs crossed today. So the first thing is to sit nice and tall and relax your shoulders down. You're going to take your right hand and just pop it on the floor next to you. Now, you don't want the hand directly in line with your hip or your shoulder. Just take it slightly forward. And this just has to do with the arm, bone in your arm. Take the left hand up to the ceiling. Now, I want you to reach for the ceiling. Imagine you're trying to touch the sky, and then just take it over into a little side bend. Relax your right shoulder and your right elbow. Now, what I want you to notice on is, has your left bum cheek come off of your block or your book? This is why I like to have something hard under the bum. So think of sending your rib cage a little to the left, and let the side bend come from the top half of the spine. So I can feel my right leg is a little bit active, so trying to relax those hips. Then inhale, bring the hand back down. Take the left hand to the side, just slightly in line with the hip, just in front. Inhale, right hand comes up. Reach, try and touch the ceiling, breath in. And then exhale, oh yes, reaching it over. So have your fingers nice and straight. So we don't want to have these arms like this. We want nice straight arms, because again, this has got to do with that line of fascia. So I want you to imagine there's a rubber band attached to your fingers, and that rubber band's going all the way down into your sitting bone. So if you bend your arm, you're going to lose that stretch. So reach, reach. Now focus on your right bum. Has it come off? Can you push your right bum down and then send your rib cage to the right? So although we're doing a side bend to the left, it's not about just falling over, although that does feel nice as well. we're trying to get into the spine so that we can stretch off all these tissues that surround this area in the back. And at the same time, you're getting the tissues in the hips as well. So inhale, come back up, hand comes down, left hand comes up. Exhale, reach. So you might find this time you can go a little further. Now all I want you to do is drop your shoulder down a little bit and you're going to reach diagonally forward. So I just want you to have this little play, just rotating the spine slightly. And if you find there's a point like, oh, that is so uncomfortable, or I can feel a really deep stretch there, I want you to hold that part. Whatever it is for you, we've all, like I said, we've all got different back tightness. I'm just going to hold it there. Now be mindful that you're not coming off of your left bum. So sometimes what I like to do is take this right hand and actually push yourself back into that left bum. Inhale, hand comes up. Exhale, right hand comes up. And then again, same thing. Just find this point. So for me, oh yeah, so that's that side of the back that's tight. Just wherever you feel. Oh yeah, nice pull there. You're just going to hold where you pull it, where you can feel it. And as I say, I'm just putting a little pressure in my left hand to try and push that hip back towards the mat so that I can keep that nice deep stretch. And then inhale. So we're going to do one more each side, and then as always, we're going to go and find that tighter side. Take it over to the other side. This is the last one to the left. Having that little movement. And then bring yourself back to the center again. Oh, I'm going to have a sneeze. And I want you to go to the side that was like, oh, that was nice there. So I'm going to go to my left to stretch off the right side. You might go to the other side. So pop the hand down. Breath in, opposite hand comes up, and take it over. And then just have these little rotations. I'm just going to hold it there. So the hand that's at the top, I want you to actively reach that hand. In your mind, you're trying to reach that hand as far away from that opposite hip. Very similar to that stretch we did in the beginning. Now try and relax your legs. And then bring it back up again. Oh, lush, good. So we are going to come into front lying now. As I said, oh, got a little sneeze on the way. We're going to come into front lying. If you have big boobs, you might want to put a block under your head. I'm going to have a block under my head because I've got a microphone here just so I don't muffle it. So I'm going to have one there. But if you don't have big boobs or anything, you can have nothing under your head. So we're going to come into stretching off the hips. Now, a lot of people, when they have a sore back or sore hips, it's because these muscles from the knee into the hip here are tight. And that could be because you're sitting all day for various reasons. So we're going to focus on putting a nice big stretch into these muscles. So I want you to have your legs together if you can for this particular movement. If you find you start to get a bit of pain into these areas, you're not doing harm, you're stretching a particular muscle called the psoas. But if it gets too much, then just take your legs wider. Okay. You're going to have your arms on the floor in a W position. Now, depending on your lower back, if your lower back is quite stiff, have your hands more forward. If you're not sure, just have your hands kind of in line with your head, somewhere around there, or your block. So again, legs together, you'll get more out of it, but if you get any pain or the discomfort gets too much in the lower back, you can take the legs a little wider. Now, draw your tummy in, send your pubic bone into the floor, and reach your legs away from you. So I want you to squeeze your bums, your thighs, your calves, and point your toes. Now, without using your hands, you're going to lift the head and the chest as much as you can. So there's no weight in my hands. And I'm still pushing my pubic bone into the floor. So we don't want the pubic bone to lift up. And then relax down. Have a little shake. This can be quite crampy for the feet. It's quite normal. So belly button pulls in. Pubic bone imprints, reach those legs away. So engage your thighs. Lifting the chest and the head first. And now we're going to push into the hands. As you push into the hands, you don't want your elbows to come out to the side, because you can see how my shoulders now go up around the neck. So as you push, think of your elbows coming inwards and bringing those shoulder blades down the back. So this is not about how high you can go. Okay, so belly button on the floor is safe, is a good place for an extension. Some people might be able to go a little higher, but you don't want to be forcing your spine. So if you get up here and say, oh, this is like, I feel like my back's being crushed, it probably is. So just come down a little bit, maybe even rib cage on the floor. So like I said, there's no competition. And then relax yourself down and have a little wiggle. So belly button, pubic bone, reach those legs away, lifting the chest, the head, everything comes up. Pull the tummy in, soften the shoulders down the back. So be aware if you're looking up, I like to have that chin slightly down so the back of the neck is long. And then hold it there. Just slowly see if you can bring one foot to your bum. Try not to let anything else move. So your head might drop. Maybe the bum will pop up. Or you might get a tilt to the side. So really focus on trying to keep the hip. So I can feel this one is a lot more challenging. It's the front of the leg that's a little bit more stiff on this side. I can feel my body wants to rock into that right hand. And then take it down and do these slowly. Good. And take it down. And then one more. Oh, that is so tight on the left side. And then take it down and then relax your head down. Good. So bring your hands under your shoulders and then you can either let's come onto the back. I was going to do a little child pose, but I thought I'll do this one instead. And then I've just realised I've got a ball. Had no intention of using it. Oh dear. The joys of menopause, eh? It's like, where am I? What am I doing? Good. So I hope your back starts to feel a little bit better. I will link some more back videos and hip videos after this one so that you can save them. So if you like today's class, please like, subscribe, comment. It does help for YouTube to get the video out to other people. So I shall see you again on the mat soon. Take care.